This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 6, and it reads, Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, how long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, all praises, honor, and the glory shall go to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Ba'asham, Makah, Kodash, Barakatham. Double honor shall go to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone who continue to teach and to rule well. Shalom to the Akims of Great Millstone and like-minded camps and individuals who continue to teach as one body, who continue to be out on the highways and byways risking their lives for the greater good. And also shalom to the sincere Aquads, who are continuously learning in silence as the Holy Scriptures have commanded for you to do so. This is Azariah Gabar, representing the King is Coming channel, back at it with another lesson for edification purposes. All right. So this sanctioned scripture is going to concentrate on today's state of the economy. Because unless you were just hibernating for the past several decades and just waking up out of a cave, you should know that today's economy is in total shambles, all right? So the backdrop to the title of this lesson is called Redneck Recession, all right? Because I have an article in a video that I'm going to pull up, Lord willing, at the end of this video. But I'm going to read the title. It reads, Trump's Redneck Recession hits his working class base the hardest. All right? So, simply put, you have a lot of these MAGA supporters that flocked to the polling sites back on November last year, hell-bent on putting Trump back into office because of the okey-doke false fairy tale that he sprung on them, that he was going to make America great again. People were going to be well off again. And that's that. Nope, not happening. It's quite the contrary to that. And for those who should be in the spirit or who are in the spirit like me, you should know that this is all from the elites. The elites put Trump in from years ago. All right? And ultimately, this was Yahweh Ba'asham, Yahushai Ba'asham, Makah Kodash doing, because he mingled a spirit into these elites to put certain individuals in place to fulfill the prophecies of the last times. All right. So when we go to Isaiah 19 and 14, it reads, the Lord had mingled a perverse spirit. Ooh, I just mentioned about the spirit in the midst thereof. And they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. All right. So I wanted to mention, going back to Habakkuk, the terminology thick clay means heavy debts. All right. That's what that means for those who were not in the know. Back to Isaiah 19 and 15, it reads, Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. All right. Simply put, whether you're at the high top of the corporate totem pole or as low as scrubbing toilets, a whole lot of people are going to get affected by no work for Egypt. And here's a point. Verse 16. In that day shall Egypt be like unto woman, and it shall be afraid and feared because of the shaking of the hand of the Lord of hosts, which he shaketh over it. Isn't that what's going on now? You're seeing a whole lot of people now getting on social media barking about how things are truly difficult now. especially the Edomites, because let's face it, us Israelites, us Jakes, this is nothing new for us, all right? Being poor, not working, or if we are working, we just barely skating by, all right? So this is nothing new to us, but to you Edomites and Shedemites, oh boy, this is new for you guys. And y'all don't know how to handle it one bit. And a lot of you guys are so scrambled by what's happening that y'all just taking your own lives. Y'all offing yourselves. Y'all rather do that than to suffer. Y'all heard? And a lot of trembling is taking place too. Tremble. So when we go to Ecclesiastes 12:3 reads, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble. I just mentioned the word tremble. And the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders shall cease or to stop, because they are few, and those that look out of the window be darkened. And here's a point. Verse 4. And the doors shall be shut in the streets. Isn't that what's going on now, people? A lot of these retail stores have shut their doors and are continuing to shut their doors, Salakia, cardboarded up forever. When the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. Woo! So especially for you Eves out there, you independent black woman, I don't need a man, black woman, even Latino woman. All right? This is what you better start to heed to. According to Haggai 1:5, it reads, now therefore thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider your ways. Consider your ways. Verse 6. Ye have sown much and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes. Woo! Fire. And that's true, because too many people right now, they work in multiple jobs, sometimes 3-4 jobs at one time. And they still are able to just skate by, barely. And they're just one or maybe even 2 paychecks away from being homeless on the streets. All right? Verse 7. And this is a repeat. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider your ways. So especially you Eves better start to consider your ways. So why not consider returning to your true Lord like you're supposed to? And stop being on social media, being half butt naked, all right? Pimping yourselves out there to the highest bidder, because that's what y'all doing. Thinking that that's going to save you. Wrong. Nope. It's going to be quite the opposite, all right? And y'all going to be tore up when all you know what hits the fan. Y'all going to be abducted, raped, and be left out there to defend for yourselves. If you're not in the election, if you're not that elect lady, you heard? So this book of Lamentations 4:21, this is strictly for you Edomites, and it reads, rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken and shalt make thyself naked. Woo! Another fire scripture. All right. So what's going on now is this a transition of the cup being passed from us to you Edomites. Period. That's what's going on. And there was a news article that I saw a couple of days ago about the jobs report for last month. Only 22,000 jobs were created. All right. Only 22. But at the flip side, you had probably over 500,000 jobs that were lost, mainly to AI. And over 300,000 of those jobs were lost or taken away from you, Eve. All right. So that's why y'all trembling, like I mentioned in the scriptures. Y'all trembling big time. Y'all shaking. Because now, as it turned out, you're going to need a man to help you. And not just any man, the man of the elect. All right. So I'd like to play this video, or attempt to try to play this video. But before I do so, I'd like to make this disclaimer: fair use of the 1976 Copyright Act law. This video is strictly for education and edification purposes. I'm not profiting and making one dime off of this video. You heard? So without further ado, hopefully I could try to pull up this video. Slakia.
Here's a shocking truth. While Wall Street soars to record highs, the very backbone of America, its working class, is being left behind in what can only be described as a redneck recession. Yes, you heard that right. Despite Donald Trump's triumphant claims that America is the hottest country anywhere in the world, the reality on the ground tells a far different story. But here's where it gets controversial. The same policies that have fueled tech giants like Nvidia, now valued at a staggering $4 trillion, are crushing the industries that once formed the heart of Trump's MAGA base. And this is the part most people miss. The manufacturing, construction, transportation, and retail sectors are either in recession or teetering on the edge. Mark Zandi, chief economist at Moody's Analytics, warns that nearly a third of the U.S. economy is already in recession, and it's the working class jobs that are taking the hardest hit. Think about that for a moment. The very people who helped Trump return to the White House are now suffering the most. Dean Baker of the Center for Economic and Policy Research, CEPR, puts it bluntly: we have an economy with really just one dynamic sector, the tech sector. But what happens when the rest of the economy is left to fend for itself? The jobs market is flashing red alerts. In June, instead of the expected 110,000 new jobs, only 73,000 were added, a stark slowdown that has economists worried. Gabenga Ajilore of the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, CBPP, puts the odds of a U.S. recession in the next 12 months at 55%, calling it 100% self-inflicted. Trump's reaction? He fired Erica McIntyre, the Bureau of Labor Statistics commissioner, claiming the numbers were rigged.
All right. For time constraints, I had to cut that video short, but you see what I'm talking about? And even that person who narrated this article said, think about it. Think about it, all right? So, fair warning, especially to you Jakes, you 2/3 Jakes, that's not in that proper spirit. Get it together, or it's too late. You heard? That's going to conclude this lesson for today. Hopefully it was edifying to someone. All praises, honor, and glory shall go to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Ba'asham, Akakodash, Brakatam, Kwam Yasharala. Lord willing, on to the next video. Shalom.